welcome to Daily Hope. My name is Debbie Samuels. When I was 12, my parents took me and my siblings to the Grand Canyon. The problem was, I was 12, and I thought I knew the Grand Canyon would be boring because, well, I had no idea what it was. When we arrived, I discovered I could not be more wrong. The Grand Canyon was full of treasure, and it impacted me greatly. Proverbs has had that type of impact for me. I first thought of it being a book of advice that really did not mean a lot to my everyday life. Yet I could not be more wrong, as it has become a treasure of how to live on earth as it is on heaven. Eugene Peterson writes in his introduction to Proverbs in the Message, it says, "Many people think that what is written in the Bible has mostly to do with getting people into heaven, getting right with God, saving their eternal souls. It does have to do with that, of course, but not mostly. It is equally concerned with this living on this earth, living well, and living in robust sanity. In our scriptures, heaven is not the primary concern, to which earth is a tag-along or an afterthought. On earth as it is in heaven is Jesus' prayer." He finishes the introduction saying, Proverbs keeps us connected in holy obedience to the ordinary. So let's go. Verse 1 of chapter 14. "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down." That word wise, what does it mean and how do we get it? One description is, wisdom is the capacity of the mind that allows us to understand life from God's perspective. A few steps in getting wisdom. First is to fear God. Proverbs 9:10, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." This is not a fear that means we're scared. This fear is the type of respect and love a child has for a parent, the fear of offending one they adore most and trust. To fear the Lord can also be described as awe and wonder and reverence. The next step is to desire wisdom and pray for wisdom. James 1:5 says, "If any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault." Then take time to study His Word, meditate on it, read it, reread it. Let His Word become part of your daily life. Because God has infinite wisdom, the person who neglects God will naturally miss out on wisdom. They will become a fool. A fool is anyone who does not follow the warnings and commands of God. A fool lacks wisdom and has no concern for others and does not desire to avoid sin. The scripture is clear. We're to avoid living as a fool. Rather, we are to fear the Lord, walk in His wisdom, and follow His ways. So back to verse 1. What does it look like to build a house with wisdom? For me, I know if I've had a hard day, or things did not go my way, or I was in a tough conversation that was lingering, or I spoke out of turn or coarsely spoke to someone, if I walk in the door of my home and choose to spill it all out to my husband, I will tear down my home. I can choose to walk in wisdom. Wisdom for me is my home to first be thankful that I have a home. I have a job. I have a husband who loves me. Wisdom is acknowledging a loving God that has given me so much that I'm blessed beyond measure. Wisdom is the knowledge that even in the hard, there is joy beyond the temporary displeasures that can take the joy from my home. The difference here is knowing who my God is and keeping Him first on my lips when I walk in my home. He leads me. I choose not to have my troubles lead me. In the book of Job, where he was walking through the deepest of suffering, a beautiful poem in chapter 27, beginning with verse 12. "But where can wisdom be found? Where does understanding dwell? No mortal comprehends its worth. A few verses down, it continues, "It cannot be bought with the finest gold. It is hidden from the eyes of every living thing." Verse 23 says, "God understands the way to it, and He alone knows where it dwells." And then finally, verse 28, "And He said to the human race, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. To shun evil is understanding." Take time today to meditate in the Proverbs. We just looked at one verse. Ask God to give you the wisdom and understanding, and may you discover the beauty of keeping connected in holy obedience to the ordinary. May He bless you today.